Thank Ladies and gentlemen who are still upstairs, please make your way down. I've already been told that we are running 10 minutes late. So I don't want to be on the bad side of my BD people after they worked so hard to put this event together. Can somebody just give me a sign that we are live online and that I'm good to start? Just wave, raise a hand, say something. Voice, are we good to start? Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Lerato Matopo, and I'm one of the founders of DM5. We are delighted. I don't think I have sufficient adjectives to capture what we are feeling right now, but we are delighted to have you both physically and online. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend today with us. Some of you will notice that even though this is a women's function, we've got our male colleagues here. We didn't want FOMO to kill them. So we decided that this will be a women's function with some gentlemen in the team. Most of the gentlemen that you will see are colleagues from DM5. And like I said, we didn't want to leave them behind. Amongst the audience today, we've got family, friends of the firm, clients of the firm, prospective and current. And everyone who's here must appreciate that they were hand-selected for the invitation, because each and every one of you means something to DM5. Vele and I, when we were trying to come up with the list, we literally had to say who has been with us in the journey. Others are not clients, others are just friends of the firm, others are people we collaborate with when we do work, but each and every one of you, you were personally selected because we wanted to spend this day with you. As we all know, the theme for today is navigating the room. When I was thinking about DM5, I thought if DM5 was a person, she would be in grade 12 because she would be 18 years. So teaching her how best to navigate the room is an appropriate time. Because think about it, when your child is 18, you're preparing them for university, you're preparing them for the outside world. You are then sitting them down and saying, this is how you conduct yourself in a workplace. You are now going to university where you'll mix with people from all backgrounds. This is how you handle it. This is how you handle a difficult lecturer. All those things, you'd be teaching them how to navigate the room. So I thought that the topic is appropriate for an 18-year-old. And I have chosen to call her a she because DM5 is a she. While the webinar will focus mainly on the professional rooms, I want to venture out and say to all of us, we are all navigating rooms at any given time. We are navigating rooms whether we are conscious of it or we are not conscious of it. Some rooms are more important than others, and some rooms require a bit more effort than others. But just imagine this for a second. You are at Pick and Pay, you are about to pay, you are approaching a till. The lady at the till is chatting to her colleagues who's packing. You need a skill to navigate that room. And if you don't navigate it properly, either you're about to have a bad experience or a good experience at Pick and Pay. That is a room you have to navigate at that time. Imagine a new friendship circle. You're new in an area, you're making new friends. If you don't give yourself time to understand that room and how best to navigate it, you might end up telling an inappropriate joke and you offend your new friends because you didn't take the time to understand that room and to navigate it properly. Imagine a Pirates fan who's sitting with Chiefs fans in a stadium and Chiefs is scoring. What's happening to that person? That person did not navigate the room properly because they are about either to be beaten up or to be pulled down or something is about to go wrong because they did not navigate the room. Another great example is your in-laws. You are a new son-in-law or daughter-in-law, and you've just arrived in this family. If you don't take the time to navigate the room, you might end up offending your in-laws because you made a comment and they found it inappropriate because actually they believe in this thing that you're saying. I don't understand people who do these things. It's so stupid. And everyone is giving you a look that says, ouch. And they're giving you that look because they just realize you've just failed in navigating this room. So it's important for all of us to know that at any given time in our lives, we are navigating rooms. I'm deliberately staying away from the professional room because that's what the webinar is about. Our speakers will give us tips and nuggets on how to navigate the professional rooms. They will tell us from their experience how they have navigated the rooms, and you will see from the mix of our panelists that we try to mix different age groups. We try to mix different backgrounds in terms of where our panelists have been, because we want to get the wealth and the diverse experience and information that we can get from them. And navigating the room has got nothing to do with gender. It has nothing to do with race. Literally, each and every person at any given time has to navigate the room. And lastly, for those of you who've attended our webinars, you know that we don't disappoint. The standard has been set. This is our first physical one. The standard has been set online though, so as always, we've brought together women from dynamic backgrounds to come and share with us. And even in the panel today or in the audience today, both online and physical, we have people from diverse backgrounds. Let's all enjoy, learn from one another, and always remember, at any given time in your life, you are navigating the room. It could be in church, it could be in politics, it could be anywhere. You just have to decide the kind of energy that each room requires. You have to decide the kind of effort and the level of effort that each room requires. But at any given time, even as you sit here, when you arrived upstairs, you had to mingle and greet people. You were already navigating the room. And lastly, I will now hand over to our facilitator. And I just want to say, enjoy. Let's have a good time. Thank you.
Keyword, enjoy. Hi, everyone. Oh my, no, you can't do this. Hello? My name is Yvonne Mkefa, and I'm from Cliff Decker Hofmeyer, but I do want to do this. I want to congratulate DM5. I'm one of those people who actually were there when it was born. So it's so beautiful to see this 18-year-old teenager has grown to be what it is today, and also empowering the next generation of leaders. I used to look at Lerato and Veda, I'm like, these are brave. These two are brave. And I am glad that you did not let any storm deter you to get to what you've accomplished. If you can just join me, and I want it to be a resounding applause to DM5 for their time that they have spent building this girl. Join me. Thank you so much. Second statement, or would you go on a road trip? Ah. Marvel or DC? Marvel. The Wonder Woman. And the Captain Americas. DC? Oh, people, nothing. No Aquaman, nothing. Okay, the last one. Would you rather dance or would you rather sing? Dance. Ah, those are my people. Those are my people. And sing? No, those are the talented ones. You must just know. There's no way you'll pick up your hand if you are unable to sing. Thank you so much for the participation. I hope the energy is in the room. Maybe just a few announcements. So we do have the bathrooms. I think they're actually on our right, up the ramp, if you need to use the bathrooms. And let's get this show going. Hello, ladies. You're looking beautiful. Please grab your mic. Please grab your mic. That's your mic. You look amazing. So everyone in this panel, just want to give you this, is well accomplished. Believe you me. I have read their resume. I have read their bios, not once, not twice, several times. And I've also met them as we were preparing. So I understand who they are. From their bios, I picked the things that I think are important for this discussion. I don't have an issue. You can look them up. You will not be disappointed. They actually have the goods to deliver today. Let me just introduce them. We've got Jazz. How did you know you were number one? How did you know that you're going to be the first one? We've got Jazz, who has 23 years of experience in human capital and strategic leadership. She's an executive coach. Thanks to you, for people who do your job, that I was able to transition from being a specialist to being a manager and a leader of people. So she's an executive coach and a mindfulness dialogue lead. And she operates under the company jazzoptimism.com. Her focus lies in fostering mindful leadership and empowering organizations and individuals to achieve sustainable growth. She's dedicated to building a future that is ready, or the future-ready organizations, and enhancing employee experience. He also leverages expertise in this new business development, strategic leadership, and business innovation. Now, this is the part that actually strikes me, and I've seen it throughout this resume. She collaborates with teams to create impactful solutions that align with organizational growth. If you can just join your hands as we welcome Jazz. So the next one is Tubelihle Mtshali. We call it Tube. She's an associate in the litigation department at DM5 Incorporated, with 4 years of experience spanning the full spectrum of general litigation and dispute resolution. She has a strong ability to analyze complex legal issues, like navigating the room is part of it. You may not know, you may not be aware, and translate them into practical executable solutions across various sectors and industry. There you go. Tube is a collaborative, did we hear that? Collaborative and adaptable legal practitioner, able to engage effectively with diverse clients and stakeholders. She is committed to delivering high-quality legal services and contributing meaningfully to the litigation and dispute resolution practice. And now, as you can see, she is contributing to the next leaders of our next ladies, women who are going to be leading. Amen. Oh, sorry. As you can see, my other life. And we have Nosiphiwe Mzamo, we also call her Nosi. She is a chief executive officer at State Diamond Trader. Nosi is a geologist by profession and has worked as such for several mining houses in South Africa and has over 25 years of experience as a registered professional scientist and management professional in the professional body. She started her career as a junior geologist in the mining industry and climbed the career and later joined Mintech in May 2010. Where she has held several executive positions for over a period of 13 years. Nosi joined the State Diamond Trader as its chief executive officer in October 2023. This is the crux for me. In her role, she ensures that there is transformation, inclusivity at the workplace and in the diamond industry as well. At the workplace, she practices fairness, transparency on how she takes decisions by practicing transformative democratic leadership. She is critical. It is critical for her that this tablet is making me. Apologies. It is critical for her that all employees are treated equally and decisions that are taken are consistent. She believes that creating a workplace where every employee feels valued and included isn't just a right thing to do, it's also a recipe for innovation, collaboration, and success. If you can give Nosi and Tube a round of applause. I'm just gonna give them 2 minutes just to say hi to you. And what is it that they hope to achieve today? Jazz.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I've been introduced already. Thank you for that. My name is Jazz Mbanjwa, and I am a very good friend of DM5. So I'm one of your panelists. And I think you'll get to know me as we go through the panel discussion.
Good morning, everyone. I am Tubelihle, as a lot of you may know me from DM5. And what I would like to achieve out of today's chat is to ensure that we bring in many more people into the room.
Good afternoon. It is afternoon. Yes. I'm so excited to be here. Friends, family of DM5. I've seen this child being born and I've been part of this child growing up. And I'm so excited to be here and to impart knowledge, and hopefully my story will inspire someone and they'll be able to navigate the room. Thank you.
Thank you so much. There is always an assumption that we all know what we are talking about when we're talking about the room. What we've heard from Lerato is that there are many rooms. There's a specific one that we are going to be discussing today. So I'm going to give the panelists 2 minutes. What is your understanding of on navigating the room, and which room are you referring to? Can I just switch it up quickly? Let's start with Chube.
So the room for me, and Ms. Matopa did a great job in giving us contexts in the different types of rooms, but there is generally a universal code on what rooms are. So when we speak about professional rooms, corporate, and just the employment space, for me, the room is an intersection where an ecosystem of power, opportunity, and perception meets. So what does that mean? It means being in the room is not enough, but checking the pulse and the temperature of the room is what makes you stay in the room and what makes you relevant in a room.
Thank you so much, Chube. That's actually quite profound, the intersection, and there you're talking about power as well. Nosi?
For me, the room, it resembles power, influence, but most importantly, how do you ensure that the people that are around you are able to be successful? So not just being in the room itself, but have that influence. We always hear that you need to be in the room. It's where decisions are taken. And I think as you navigate growing into a position, you want to see yourself in the room. You want to find your chair in the table where decisions are being made. And then we always say, I think Lerato said this, about reading the room. While you are in the room, then you need to be able to read the room, how you communicate, how you ensure you build relationships in that room, so that then you grow to the next stage of your career. But also owning the room. How do you then, when you get into the room, how do people perceive you? How do people find your energy? So it's not just being inside the room, but make sure you own the room.
Wow. I had influence. I had relationship, I had ownership of the room. Maybe for our guests, our attendees online, please feel free to post your questions or your comments, and we'll be reading them out as we progress with the conversation. Jazz, what is the room? What is navigating the room?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Excellence is important, but invisible excellence can remain invisible. So navigating the room for me starts before you enter the actual room. Doesn't start in the room, before you walk into the room. You need to understand yourself, your values, your triggers, your emotions, whether they're positive or negative when you're around people, your strengths. And I think I'll pause on the strengths because I think we tend to focus a lot on what we can do, which is weaknesses, and we forget what we can do best. So I'll invite you to tap into your strengths and let the weaknesses flow. Somebody else will pick up those pieces. And what impact do you have on others? And when I say impact, what positive impact do you have on others when you are in the room? Not negative emotions or negativity. Whether it's politics or it's Trump or it's whatever, it's war. But when you are in the room, we need your positive energy. because lightning only strikes once. And I think because I come from a very human capital, people-orientated environment, then you actually need to understand the actual room once you've stepped inside. The people, the power dynamics in the room, the culture, and where the influence sits. I'll tell you right now in this room, there's probably 2 or 3 decision makers, but there's a lot of us. But where does the power sit? And then I think the real skill is being able to do both without losing your authenticity. That's my understanding of navigating the room.
Hand clap there, hand clap there. That is, there's so many nuggets there. What stands out for me is that you navigate the room before you get there. You don't get shocked when you're in the room, and you don't, I often hear people saying that you must also understand your audience. So the preparedness, preparation actually will make you stand out. Maybe let's just move on to the next one. This one is actually quite interesting. I think it is the nub of it, of this discussion. So we talk about, we talk a lot about people being the smartest person in the room, right? When did you learn that it was not enough for you to be smart, and that is the only thing that you need to be successful? Or have you watched someone who is more qualified? Actually, when they read their resume, you're thinking, oh my goodness, will I be able to say anything here? Because they seem to have it all packed. I mean, the package is actually great. They are qualified and they've been advancing. Do they actually, is it guaranteed that they'll navigate the room better than anyone else in that room? Can I start with you, Jazz?
Sure. So you have to be able to read yourself first. I'm very big on self-awareness. You gotta know yourself. So you gotta be able to read yourself before you can effectively read the room. Because we're all human beings. There's no animals here. But if you know yourself and what you bring in the room, then I think you've done 50% of the job. So I think one of the lessons I've learned in my 27-year global career, I know you said 23, I think that was my old profile. 27. Yeah.
27. Okay.
Being highly competent is very essential in corporate, in family, in politics, everywhere. But I'm afraid to say being competent alone is not always enough. You can be extremely knowledgeable technically, you can be the best engineer, you can be the best lawyer, you can be the best Malanga Commission, and you can work hard. You can consistently deliver results for your corporate to get a bonus. But if you don't understand how to communicate your value, build relationships with people, they're not animals, they are people, and create trust and loyalty, you may find yourself wondering why opportunities are going to other people and bypassing you. So it's not always the smartest person in the room, but navigating the room, that your presence is felt without having to talk too much, because I think listening on its own is a lot of talking.
Sure.
So that's my understanding.
That is my... Did I disturb you? Yeah, apologies. Tube, so we know that not everyone who is qualified makes it. We see your CEOs building empires, and they don't even have qualifications. Have you been in instances where a person who actually is less qualified in a room but they actually are succeeding and they are doing better in that room? Can you share?
Sure. Yeah, it's a very hard reality, and it's real because we've seen people who are less qualified. We've been beaten by those less qualified under us, and they've topped the rank. And you wonder, hi, but lo bengahlakaniphile ukudlula mina, or whatever it is that you rank as superior. But we must, and what I've learned being in the employment space is that you have to understand where thinking is pitched.
Sure.
And when I talk about thinking, I'm not talking about, well, I use it loosely, but I'm really talking about strategy. Get into the heart of the organization, and that is how you grow. In thinking or in strategy, there are various players. There will be the implementers and the doers. Understanding where the thinking is pitched is where you can take an opportunity to also introduce yourself as a strategic or as a collaborative entity into the thinking. So we've seen it many times where people have progressed more, and we have our own indicators, and sometimes we will attribute their growth to favoritism. But it really is about whether they've been able to capture the heart of the organization, and have they been able to meet the needs of that strategy.
Wow. 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 And I guess that's the source, right? That's the magic. That even when you speak to your manager or your leader and they actually see that you are keen, like you are interested and you can articulate what the organization is about, that you are able actually to navigate even that relationship with your manager or with the leader. Now, so let's move on to the next one. And I think it's a bit, it's an important question, because when someone is accomplished, you always think they've gotten it right all the time, right? So I want to ask you this question. What room, or which rooms, because yay, 20-something years, which rooms have you tried to navigate and you got it wrong? And what did you do and what did you learn?
Yeah, this one is a personal story. And I was thinking as I was driving, coming here this morning, I've actually never shared it in a public space, but those close to me, they know about the story. I'm a geologist, worked in the mines, and got a job in Sentin. I met my two friends here in Sentin, so excited. You know, as a geologist, you never think that, oh, I'll ever find a job in Sentin, but God's grace, I find myself in Sentin. In less than a year in my job, my previous employer calls me and they say, we want you back, Nosi. Excitedly so, I'm like, wow. Just before I'm even turning 29, they're offering me a position to be an executive in a mine. I'm thinking, wow, I've made it, you know, not even 30. So the trick here was that I'm going to succeed the next a manager who was reporting to the general manager. So, but then when the offer comes, it's not written anywhere in the offer. So I said, but this is not written here. Then they're like, no, when we get here, it's going to be on your development plan. We'll ensure that within 12 months, you'll be in the role because this person is moving to the next role, but we want to groom someone to take over. And this company was a good company that we all know that people get handpicked to the next role. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm one of them. I've made it. Excitedly, so I accept the offer. Good offer. They give me like almost double what I was earning here in Sentin. And I'm thinking, moving to Kimberley, I mean, with this salary, I can do it. Excited still. I get to Kimberley. I get orientated, and the plan is still in place. It's happening. And because then I have big dreams, I'm thinking I'm going to stay here for a long time. Or when I came in Johannesburg, I bought myself a house. I had a 4-year-old daughter. I now pull her out of Joburg again. We go back to the mines. And we then buy another house. So now I have 2 bonds because, you know, girl is going to be an executive.
Absolutely, absolutely. Why not?
Okay, 6 months, you know, they said 12 months. Within 6 months, this gentleman is moved to the next mine. I'm acting in this role. I'm so excited. It's happening. It's really happening right in front of my eyes. I'm going to be an executive of a mine. You know, we come where women were never in leadership position in the mining industry. So I'm thinking I'm one of the women that are now sitting there right on top, making decisions for such a big company. 6 months, I get into the role, I'm acting in the role gets advertised, and I'm thinking, it's process, you know, nothing is wrong with what they are doing, it's process. I apply, then the position closes. The day, I still remember the day of the closing date. There was a SAPC to flight women in science. So I was out there in the field with SAPC to flighting women in science. And after that, we had an afternoon exco. Then I'm at exco. Then the GM sends me a note. I would like to see you after the meeting. Nothing is wrong, eh? Everything is fine. And then in the meeting, after the exco meeting, then says to me, hey, Nosi, we have decided to appoint a gentleman based in another mine for this position. That day was the closing of the position, the advert. No interview, nothing. Like, if I think I would have felt better if there was an interview and then someone with more experience, stronger experience than me got the job. That would have then given me comfort, but still I was promised. But I was promised. I said, but unfortunately, head office has decided this person. You know what? Those times, depression was not something that was a word we knew of. But when I think about it, I think I just sank into depression mode because now I've got 2 bonds. It was the time of recession, interest rates are high, and I thought I'm going to be an executive in the next few months. Now, I'm now stuck with this position I didn't come for this position that I'm doing because I knew I wanted that role. I sank into depression. I wish I had those dark curtains where I could just sit in the dark. But you know what? When you have support structure, when you have people that believe in you, then they pull you out of it and say, it's not end of the world, you know, see. Yes, we could have navigated the room differently. To could have said, can I have this in writing? Can we? But I was naive, I was young, I was excited. And because of that excitement, then I thought it was going to happen, but it did not happen. But I took lesson out of that then not everything that is said, it is what is it. You need to maybe put it in writing, even though I think I trusted the people because these were my previous boss. These were the people that groomed me to be where I was. And it was also an excitement to say, they called me back. That means I'm good. That means they want me. But what I want to say, what most was important for me at that time is to have a support structure, is to have people then that say, it's not the end of the world, you know, see, pull yourself up, put your red lipstick on.
Oh, wow. This is what I'm hearing from Nosi, is that we are thinking physical rooms. And it's actually beyond that. When you are navigating a career, a conversation itself can be a room. You could be sitting with someone and you need to know what conversations you are having, why you're having these conversations, and how they're advancing you. All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. And as you say, we are, I guess, indebted because this is something that we've never shared before. And yeah, we learn. We learn on the things that we need to put in place to advance in this career. Just let me come to you. We've had this conversation in you and I think in different setups using different topics. I mean, today it is about navigating the room. That our counterparts, males that are also they work beside us all the time, and do you think that males and females navigate the room differently?
So, from my mindfulness and positive leadership perspective as an executive coach, and having dealt with lots of people with depression, with mental illness, with all sorts of things that don't go right, that we think don't go right, but those people still show up and they're normal. So, I'm very cautious not to say that all men navigate the room one way or all women navigate the room another way, because individuals are different. I spoke about strengths earlier on and weaknesses. So I'm not going to say men are more masculine, we're more feminine. We can flip the script and we could have females more masculine and men more feminine, which is happening in our society, by the way. But I do believe that men and women can experience the room differently, depending on how they show up. Sorry, that's what happens. Technology. So I think for many women in this room, particularly because we are traditionally in male-dominated environments, we all know that, because of the industry setups globally, not even in South Africa only. There can be an additional layer of being aware or creating awareness. And I think in South Africa specifically, we've tried to do BEE, we've tried to create a lot of forums like this to make sure that women's voices are heard. And you may be thinking about whether you are not being heard or heard, whether you are competent or smarter, or you may think you're being questioned, that whatever you're speaking, is it real? Are you real? Are you a real woman? I mean, we are living it here, we are real. We are real in this room. And whether being assertive will be interpreted as being arrogant or aggressive or overly confident, why not? Show up as you are, male or female. So I also think women can sometimes be conditioned to believe that if they simply work harder than the male counterparts, their work speaks for itself. And yes, good work matters, but relationships, networking, visibility, and having your voice heard matters. Not by talking a lot, because also listening is a form of talking. Yeah. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Jazz. And I think we need to, or what I'm hearing you is that let's just get rid of the boxes. People come as individuals. People experience, or they come with their own background. They are shaped in a certain way. They know their strengths. Because I'm yet to find a school of only males and females, and they say, you need to show up this way. You need to show up this way. We are all from same families. My brother and myself are raised by the same parents. Chances are we went to the same schools. So there is something that happens in the when we grow up and enter into this in the corporate world, that somewhat we are shaped differently, and we need to embrace it. We need to embrace it. Let's do less comparing, and see how we can leverage who we are and how we help each other navigate the room. I have a comment from Jane online saying, "Thank you, Nosi, for sharing your story." Thanks, Jane, for that comment. So, Tuba, you're probably the youngest voice on this panel. I love it. If you recall, when I read the resume, I was hearing 23 years. Now I found out there's a 27 years experience. I gather from from what I've read that as accomplished as you are, Tube, you've been in the game for lesser time, and you're bringing a very good perspective to this conversation, and we want to leverage that. We are listening, and we're listening with interest. Someone said there is something called reverse mentorship, when you actually, the CEO is get mentored by actually a junior. So and we must take those opportunities so that we learn and we know how to do this. So today, do you think different generations navigate the room differently?
Absolutely, Yvonne. I think that with Jazz speaking, and she said a lot about, especially with the gender differences, that we are people, but our generation is more alive to the fact that in as much as we're people, there are still those nuances that separate us from how we operate in spaces as male, whether it's a black male, it's a white male, as a female now. So yes, the generations do operate or think differently.
So I had an encounter. Now we're online, so I need to be very I need to be circumspect. I have an encounter with a junior that was writing an email, and they were using the WhatsApp speak. You know, well, you're like, I don't think it's lol anymore. Like, it's really an emoji. And I send an email, like a very serious email about things that need to be done. There's an action list here. And I get a thumbs up. Oh my. And that is a real thing, right? Because I can choose to be offended, and I can choose to be someone who is who you just need to know your place. Whereas at the end of the day, they are communicating something to me, like I have received your email. Okay. It's important because I know it comes as a joke, but the people who actually do get to that stage where they don't think the person is a fit. And I'm back to this reverse mentoring business, because I think there are a few things that we can learn. So what I'm hearing you to be saying is that there definitely is a difference. And when you're walking into any conversation and a room, how do you think then the approach should be? So you're walking in there, there's Yvonne, there's Ms. Matopo, and you want to pitch an idea about how we deal with litigation. How do you go about that?
Well, and that's the core of what the room is about, because as someone coming in for something to ask Yvonne for advice, I need to read Yvonne and how she likes to be spoken to. You're not going to get any joy out of using the same method on different people. And that's where we speak about culture. This is where we speak about the fit. It's using the emotional intelligence to understand individuals. I mean, you're not going to read every individual. We don't have the time for that. But at the very least, know how to approach a certain person, whether it's in a different generation, and understand the culture.
Now, see your views?
Believe me, I'm a geologist, but at some point in my life, I was an HR exec.
Did you hear that?
And in my stint when I was in HR, one of the key trainings that we introduced was how to manage millennials and Gen Z, because you've got your baby boomers coming from a different world, different way of doing things. We believe in face-to-face meetings, and they are cool with teams. For us, if I've never met you, I'll prefer to have first engagement face-to-face. Then, because then when I shake your hand, it says something. Then I can then have a Teams meeting after as a follow-up. But then we are now managing different generation that is fine with a video chat, that is fine with sending you a WhatsApp. And I think we're struggling as well with using WhatsApp as a business way of communication. But you find out a lot of decisions are taken on WhatsApp more than on email. And email is losing that momentum. And also, career stability. So when we do interviews, we look at these job hoppers. They change jobs every 2 years. For us, you were supposed to be in a role at least for 5 years. It means stability. It means you understood the role. But within 2 years, going to the next role, when did you learn? Like, that's where we come from. But for the millennials and Gen Z, to them, it's about luxury. It's about a salary. The minute they get employed, they want a 1 series. They want an apartment at Waterfall. We were fine with our Toyota Tez that didn't have air conditions.
Conquest. Toyota Conquest.
Because we knew that life was about stages. It was about growth. And they come into the workplace and they want to be a supervisor. How are you going to supervise with no experience? And it's an experience. Then you need to understand the culture of the organization, the people that you work with. So how do I then take someone who's junior and then put them to be a supervisor? And if you don't, then it's like, my life is ending. Then they are moving on. They are resigning. They already have got another job. So we really come from different way of doing things. Work-life balance. We don't mind working until 10 p.m. They want to knock off at 5. They have family, they have children, and then you need, as people managing these people, you need to understand them. And it's not because when they want to knock off at 5, at 7, when they finish feeding their children, they're not going to go back to their laptop and do what's needed to be done. But we need to have that understanding. How do they operate, and be able to manage them and to grow them to be the next leaders who will be able to take over us.
Thanks, Nosi. So I'm hearing two things, and I've got a practical example. I'm hearing understand the multi-generations that we have in the workplace. I know we've got 4 now. Like we have a full spectrum. We've got baby boomers, the Toyota Tez Conquest people, and we have your countrymen generation that they'll buy it when they get their first salary. We're not judging; it's who they are. This is what I'm hearing about what you're saying is that the responsibility lies with both with the manager who's managing, someone who is from a different generation, and the other way, the employee must also has a responsibility to catch the line manager. I'll give you typical examples. There is a meeting that is scheduled for 4:30. It's in our calendar, right? And in our contract of employment, we knock off at 5. But there's a meeting that is scheduled for 4:30, and it's for an hour, not for 30 minutes, it's for an hour. So we all know that it's going to go beyond 5 o'clock. I'm a manager. I know that I've got someone who needs to pick up their kids. I need to think practically about how that is going to happen. Firstly, be considerate. And I'm not even talking about anything complicated. Be considerate whether or not you tell them in advance so that they can make a plan. What happens in those meetings, when someone is trying to pack up, people are giving them looks. Like, why are you leaving? That in itself is actually problematic, because we are people. We have conversations that would advance us. So when you are that person and you walk into a meeting and you know that you're going to leave at 5, this is how you navigate the room. As you start, you inform them. So that you're not awkward. Now you're trying to pick. They're looking at you and they're thinking, is she running away? You let them know, so that when you start packing up, it's easier. And it could be any generation. Some people actually want to go to the gym. Just because I don't go to the gym does not make that not important, right? But and it is a dialogue issue. Rooms are navigated through, you know that you need to influence, so you must have you must have a conversation. They're navigated outside of the room, so you know this meeting is going to go over my time. So that's just the practicality of it.
Can I share something? I actually I've experienced this. So I had a previous boss that used to be at the office at 7 a.m. and I drop kids before I go to the office, and core working hours is 9 a.m. But he will schedule a meeting at 7:30 in the morning. And exactly what you're saying. And I happen to be the only female with the 4 guys in his team. And I had to go and say, I'm the wife. You guys have wives. So I drop kids at school. Please, can we have the meeting even at 8:30, at least when my child I've already dropped her at school.
Yeah. That's how you navigate a conversation, so that it's not career limiting. I know it may sound like it is, but it's not career limiting. And with time, people adjust. It may feel quite uncomfortable at the beginning when this conversation happens, but eventually we get each other. Jazz, let's look at this one about hindrances. What are some of the hindrances and or consideration for females when they seek to navigate the room?
So I think sometimes the first room a woman has to navigate is the one inside their own mind. It's got to be in your mind, because rooms are there. They'll always be there. They're generational. But what's in your mind as a woman? Mm-hmm. Do you put yourself in a biased position? Do you put yourself less of something? Do you put yourself as a wife? Do you put yourself as a makoti? Where do you put yourself? Because you got to know yourself.
Yeah. And
you got to wear different hats in different situations, because that's what they require. And that's called emotional intelligence and a bit of strategy. So I think there are both external and internal hindrances. externally, I think women still encounter biases, stereotypes, exclusion from informal networks, going for drinks after drinks after drinks, because there's always the real drinks and then there's after drinks. And then the decisions are made at the after drinks when you are not there. Decisions are made at WhatsApps. That's what Nosi alluded to. And I think different expectations about how you should behave in different setups. So a behavior may be regarded as decisive and very decisive in a male-dominated setup, and sometimes can be interpreted differently when demonstrated by a firm woman, rightfully so. But I also think we have to talk honestly inside ourselves about the internal barriers. Sometimes we over-prepare as women because we want to be 100% right, or we want to outshine everybody in the room. Why are you outshining everybody in the room? And sometimes we want to be seen to be speaking more because we think we are not being heard. And again, I'm going to say sometimes we want to wait until we're 100% ready before applying for an opportunity. You see? Sometimes we minimize our achievements because we don't want to appear as overly dominant. But who said you're overly dominant? Because you are being yourself. You're being Jazz, you're being Lerato, you're being Yvonne, you're being yourself. Show up that the best way that you are. And I think one of the things we work through, or I work through, from a leadership development perspective when I'm coaching people, is helping others to become conscious of stories they tell themselves in their head. Sometimes the room is always challenging. You could be sitting here and we don't know that the buffalo himself, Cyril, is in the room, right at the back. Or maybe he's watching this. And that's a challenging room because you think you are less off because he's a president, but maybe not. Maybe you do better than him. So I think, honestly speaking, we need to stop already convincing ourselves that we don't belong, because we do belong. Before we even enter the room, you belong somewhere. You are somebody. You were raised by people, whether they were educated or not, or whether you are more educated or not than the other. But hey, you've got something to offer. Yeah. So I really think, I'm going to tap into mindfulness, my gosh, and I really promise myself not to. So I really think, again, sometimes the first room a woman has to navigate is inside her own mind. Thank you.
Wow. Speak. And it is so amazing when you have those quiet conversations with yourself. You ask a question, you answer yourself, and eventually it's like, you know what, I'm gonna do this anyway. I'm just gonna do it. And that's important. I hope you're jotting down all these rules, because I don't want you to be confused after this event, that you need to be a complete person, knowing that wherever you are navigating. You are navigating. Tube, let's talk about the hindrances.
Yes,
Just
let's
can you
talk about the
expand here?
hindrances. And I really love and just being cushioned by the more experienced ladies and getting a perspective of how we come across as millennials. And I love the mindfulness thinking, and that no matter how you could be big on the exterior, but if you're small inside, you know, there's nothing we can do about that. So arrive at yourself first before we speak about hindrances. So sometimes we hinder ourselves in our thinking already, and and limit ourselves to say, hey, because I am a woman, I'm a little bit afraid to be confident, because the way that interpretation of conduct is done between men and women is different. A woman can show up as confident, but she may come across as arrogant. But if a man comes across as confident, he may be read as more likable and more socially accepted in the room. So there are hindrances, and I think this is probably a call for sectors just for transformation. And I love that it's coming from a millennial and nobody's talking about transformation with the older ones. But there are hindrances. The general progression and the professional progression of a male and female will always differ because there's the natural order of things. Women may want to have kids, and many a times we've heard of stories of going into an interview and you've been asked as a young lady as to, well, are you planning to have more kids? Are you planning to have children?
Oh
Because
my.
HR wants to budget in the mind whether we can factor in maternity leave. But when a man comes into that interview and he's coming with a ring, he's a married man, he's definitely much more of a suitable candidate because he's stable. He's supporting. So there are those hindrances, but yes, I concur with the members of the panel that most of the stuff is an inside job.
Sorry, just to throw in something there. I just want to share a personal story. It's very funny. So I think in the past 3 weeks, we haven't had our helper. She's gone on holiday because it's August. So we've got an 11-year-old. So naturally, every morning, I've got a routine. My husband has a routine, always rushing to the office. And in the past 3 weeks, he's been asking me, so what's going to happen to Boise? I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to work.
Yeah, do you have an idea?
As early as this morning, I said, I'm going to DM5. I'm a panelist. I have to be there at 10 o'clock. Actually, maybe 10:15. So Lerato found me in the car park at 10:15 doing my makeup. I said, I don't know where you're going to drop off, Boise. I have a work commitment. So when you're seen as a woman, it's like, what's going to happen to the house? Who's going to unlock? I don't know. I have to go to work. This is important for me. This is very important for me. Whether you have a meeting with whoever, this is my meeting. It's in my diary for 3 months. So I just wanted to throw it that sometimes as females, I don't think we speak up because we think of, even if Boise takes an Uber or stays by himself, I have a commitment for 3 months to come to this engagement. And I'm here, and I'm showing up to the best of my ability.
Showing up.
And I'm telling you, wherever he is, he's fine.
Boise is fine.
I love him, but I'll see him after this commitment. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
Yvonne, if I may add,
Sure,
I'm sorry
sure.
to get into your mouth. I know that a lot of the times you speak about these deals that happen, the drinks after the drinks and deals happening in a smoking section. We need to remove those examples and create or go to rooms where we are accepted. There's a community for everyone. Find a room where you're accepted and thrive in it. It won't be stop looking for a smoking section. There's a community and there's a space for everyone. Find that space and go thrive in that.
Sure. See, we're getting heated up. It's getting quite hot up here. You're making very important points, because there's something, they call it naturally, but I do think that we are socialized that way, that we want to fix. We're fixers. And it takes me back to what you're saying, Jazz, is that have a good conversation with yourself. Be very clear about what is it that is important to you. You're not saying that you're neglecting a Boise. Okay, my Boise is Owami, right? It's not like I'm neglecting Owami or Indumiso, but I'm also quite clear about where does Owami's debt feature, so that we are, because we can't perpetuate a view and a way of living, because our own homes become a room, right? My kids, when they come to me, they tell me, Mom, we know when we come to you, we must have had done the analysis. If I'm asking to go to out with friends, I must know what amount is required. I'm not gonna guess. I'm not gonna just give you money. You must, and what are you gonna do with it? So that conversation that you have yourself will set you apart, because it will also tell you. We talked about influence. It will also tell you how do you prepare for the room that you're going into, and those are the things that are important. And yeah, create your own communities, and you'll be surprised that when you start doing that, the people that you believe are excluding you will come to you, will become part of who you are. So let's not find ourselves in want of the things that are important. This is the point where we give advice, and I'm also listening, right? I also want to get the advice from the panelist. What advice, I'm going to start with you, Nosi. What advice do you have for any young professional about navigating a room?
I'll say be bold. Ask for what you want. If you don't ask for it, I always say what the worst can happen is no. And then you move on. But very importantly, ask for what you want. Accept failure. We don't want to fail. Failure, take it as a lesson and then learn from that lesson. And you can cry, but tomorrow show up. Show up, dress up, put your red lipstick on. I love my red lipstick. But most importantly, we need to stop comparing ourselves. We're all on a different path. We're all on a different journey. We grew up in the same home, went to the same schools, but we ended up different career paths as children of the same family. Yeah. So same as at work, we can come in, me and Ngabagazi, we are both geologists. At some point our path met or crossed, but then we moved differently. And she's a coal geologist, I'm a diamond geologist, but then we're different. But we have the same qualifications, but because paths are different, but also stay true to yourself. Just be you. Just be authentic. Don't be anyone else, because there's no one like you. Thank you.
Wow.
Advice I would give to a younger professional,
Yes, please.
is to make sure that you understand and you make relationships before you need a favor or you need something. Get to know the people you work with, make relationships and build rapport before you ask for anything. By the time you need to be rescued out of a crisis, you now need to explain who you are and what you're about. And in academia, they call it the halo effect, The halo effect is when someone knows that today is good, but today she's not good because she's having a bad day. It's easy for them to rescue you out because you've built that rapport. So my advice would be to make relationships before you need anything.
Sure. This is actually critical. Yes, please. Yes, please. So it's called lubricating an email. That when people write to you, how they start an email will tell you who they are. There are people who say, "Hello, Yvonne," or "Hi." This is what I need. But there are people who will say, "Hi, I trust you're doing well. I trust this message." You can just see that the person is actually communicating. They want to connect first before they actually get into the work. Those are clues when you are navigating the workplace or you're navigating an opponent. I remember someone saying, "Why are you saying kind regards to your opponent?" What kind? Just write regards. Yeah, so we are not clients. Our clients are fighting, right? We are not. We are colleagues. So there is a level of courtesy and cordiality that has to be, we engage each other when we exchange, because once the clients are gone, it's us, and we must continue to be cordial with one another. Jess, your views about that, on the advice?
Sure. I think to my young professionals, and I've worked with graduates and learnerships and managers and senior managers and throughout the spectrum. But I think young professionals, my advice is that don't be too focused on performing in the room that you forget that you are already in the room. You are in the room. So obviously the fact, by virtue that you're already in the room, don't overly compensate or overly perform. So I think for me, the word for my young professionals, I've got a 19-year-old. Lerato and I met 19 years old in grade R. Our girls are now at first year university. So what I would say to them, I hope they're listening right now. We don't know whether they're in class or we don't know. Anyway, so young professionals must pause. Pause, P-A-U-S-E. Take a pause. They must prepare. They must know why they are there, whether it's entrepreneurship or work or in a lecture room, and they must understand the people around them and the context. And I think the second word to pause, the A, is to assess the environment. Do you belong there or don't you? Do you want to fit in there because the friends say you must fit in?
Yeah.
Because you have a choice.
Yeah.
We've taken you to the best schools to make a choice, boldly so, as Nosi said. And again, in the room, who is speaking? Who is listening? And where is the influence sitting in the room? Because, like I said, we could be 100 in this room, but maybe there's only 1 or 2 decision makers who will make or break where you go as a young professional. And also understand your value. What are you bringing on the table?
Yeah.
Our kids want to go overseas. They want to study in England. They want to do all sorts of things. But quite frankly, can you even wash dishes at home and clean your room before you think of flying to study in Cambridge or whatever? Do you do the basics as a young professional? It starts here, at home. And I think we've seen with our young professionals and our young children or teenagers, speak with intention. Yvonne, you mentioned that when your kids come to you, they must know why and where and how, because you're not just going to give money, even if you had it, but you're not just dishing money. So they must speak with intention in conversations and know how and when to contribute meaningfully. And I think lastly, engage beyond the room. Engage beyond the room. The room is not the only platform to engage in. There's lots of other platforms. You can be in a room at church. You can be in a room cooking. You can be in a room driving. You can be in a room in any setup. So engage yourself and engage those around you. And I think very, very lastly, I think our parents, in my age group, were taught that we need to build genuine relationships. Show up authentically. Do not lie, because lies catch up. And your reputation is built over time. It's not a one-way tick and it's done. And I think the very, very last thing is your reputation is built over time, not in one meeting and not in one room. Thank you.
Thank you. So, if you've been in any room and you know that it was a mess, it's not the end of the story. Professionally, when you go into a meeting and you're sitting with your manager or you're sitting with supervisors or sitting with the CEO, NOSI, and you're thinking, I think I got it wrong. It's not the end of the story. It's a journey. Like any skill, like anything that is worth building on, you build on it over time. So you mustn't when you walk out of a room and you think this, it didn't go right. Sometimes you can also just go back if you think you've rubbed someone the wrong way. Go back and just make amends. I haven't seen anything from the online team. If there are any questions, we're going to open up for Q&A. We're going to take a few questions, or if you want to comment, because I know that in this room we have people who also have something great to share with us. We're going to give you an opportunity to ask those questions, and the panel is here to answer. And please feel free to put up your hand and the mic will come to you. Anyone who's also online, you can also write your questions or comments on the chat. There's a hand there. And please do say who do you want to answer the question. Who would you like to answer the question?
Thank you. Christelle Groban from BDO. So I have a interesting thing that happened to one of my young professionals. She actually had just started with us the week before, the beginning of this month. And in the first week after induction, she went on a site visit. For us that work in the transaction advisory, this was to go see a site up in Limpopo. And the site is owned by the traditional authority. So it's a professional company agency that we're working for. And she went with an older sub to learn and be there. And when she arrived, she was fined because she wasn't wearing a doek and a skirt. So she's now there in a professional environment. And for her, this was just, I mean, it was, and as we didn't think, but the point is the male counterpart, it was not an issue. So she's trying to be there also in a work environment. So sometimes those kind of rooms or boxes are there. And I just said to her, just accept it. You did nothing wrong. The firm's not upset, these things happen. Similar thing happened to me years ago in Eswatini, when it was still Swaziland, and when I went to the King's office, and I was not prepared. You talked about being prepared. And I was also shown away. I wasn't meeting the King, just somebody in his office, because I was not wearing a skirt. So I think sometimes for women, we may take this as a real, this is a barrier and a buffer that is being created. But just from a young perspective, and then Nazi from you, because I think in the mining industry, you may have had quite a bit of interaction where traditional culture and business needs to connect, and how do you deal with it as a woman with a barrier that is being brought to you? Thanks.
I think it's important to understand culture, and it's not even about here in our country, the traditional culture. It's like when you go to the UAE, they have a different way of looking at women, and Japanese don't shake hands. We shake hands when we get into a meeting. I think it's just it is important that one tries to teach themselves the awareness about culture, how different culture treat a business situation. Thanks.
We seem to have a question online. I'm going to ask you to just read it out for us.
Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Nontle Kwavu. Thank you so much for this opportunity. talking about navigating rooms, how do you navigate rooms where you can see people make you feel like you don't belong, where it's treated as a privilege for you to even be there, and they minimize and sideline you, but you still have to show up and do the work? Specifically, what are the most effective psychological and tactical strategies you have used to protect your peace, assert yourself, and deliver exceptional work without burning out in environments that actively attempt to erase your presence?
Sure. So I think as a human capital person, which is HR, human beings need to show up in a corporate environment. And I'm assuming that question is coming from a corporate environment. Actually, I've been in that setup before at one of the banks. I'm not going to say which one. And I think my sin, when I looked back to understand the why my manager was so nasty, she was also a black female, is because she said, I always dress up every day. And why? And why do I match my outfit? Wow. Anyway, and I did my job. Anyway, so to answer the question to the person online, be yourself. Be true to yourself. It starts in the mind. Give your all. And hard work speaks for itself. It never lies. And if you reach a point where your peace is being tampered with, there's nothing wrong to have a conversation, authentically so, and move on to the next chapter where you'll be accepted. Because you're not married to the hip to be in one place. Rooms are all over. They are big, they are better, they are the best in the world. So I would say to the person, assess, pause. If you feel that you don't have a sense of belonging, keep moving to better rooms. Thank you.
Yes, I would like to add, when I started as a geologist, the first cohort of females that joined the mining industry. And I was interviewed by the head office and then sent to the mine. So that was when they were introducing employment equity. So I was sent to the mine. The mine never interviewed me. So I'm this girl who just now brought in by the head office. And at the time, there was fear that then there's this black female just came in and wants to take our jobs. And I'm just junior, I just graduated. There was just no way I'm going to take anyone's job. I was there to learn as a junior geologist. And then I was given a big office, like my first office, very big. Big office, big screen, like very big screen. I have everything except for being given the opportunity to learn the job, because I was just a quarter. I was just, oh, we've got a black female. But then I said to myself, my first job was on the border of South Africa and Namibia, and home is in East London. And I don't even know how to go back home because they flew me from East London to Cape Town to Alexander Bay. So even if I wanted to quit, I didn't know how to go home. So I then said to myself, I need to make this work. And you know what I did? I used to jump on the bikey with the operators that go to the mine to do the mapping. So I actually learned the work through those operators, because sometimes we say, I'm qualified, I can't be doing that job. But those people who are not qualified, because they have experience, then you learn so much more than what you've been taught at school. So I actually put it upon myself that home is very far. There's no way I'm gonna come and sit in this big office and just have this big computer in front of me. I'm a geologist, I need to be in the mine. So I just jumped in the buggy and I start learning from the people that you will have then undermined.
Navigating the room, we now have just touched on the issues of culture. Nothing beats being prepared. And when before we opened up, I said, if something has gone wrong, someone goes in there, they shun you because you're not wearing a dress or you don't have a dog, next time, and you must make sure that there is a next time. So don't run away because they've treated you badly. Next time, dress up so that, because when you're in that room, there's a lot for you to learn. And that is actually the point. There's another hand.
Is it on? Yes, it is on. Okay. Good afternoon, ladies. My name is Lulu Nguna from Tena Townsend. First, I wanted to say well done to Lerato and team. This is amazing, and I feel so special being part of this because I was handpicked. Feeling super special. But yeah, well done to Lerato and team. I think for me, what I wanted to touch on is on the issue of being yourself, because when you are in the room and navigating the room, you're trying to sort of fit in. We're talking about fitting in and then being yourself. And if you're gonna, and I thought you were Gen Z, when you say millennium, I was like, yay. But when you're trying to fit in, somehow you do lose who you are. You know, you do lose a sense of being yourself, being a Lulu. So if I walk into a room and I'm navigating that room and I realize I don't actually fit in here, you know, because it's not letting me be myself, but I want to be in that room, how do I then, again, use the word navigate, you know, staying in that room? We're talking about young people as well who have just started working. We're discouraging job hopping as well. You're like, if you don't fit in, just move on, you know, find another room. And that then becomes an issue because now you're moving from one room to another. You're trying to find a room where you can fit in. And being practical about this, because in SA, you know, unemployment rate is, you know, through the roof. We all know that. So how do you make sure, or what sort of advice do you give the young people that are trying to navigate the room? They want to stay true to themselves. They don't want to lose who they are. But then again, they want to try and fit in, you know, if that makes sense. Thank you.
Tuba, you want to take that?
I can take a shot as young as I am. I'll take the shot here. But when you buy a suit, for instance, it won't be tailor-made to fit you to perfection, right? And you have to get it chiseled to the correct fit. And unfortunately, especially in professional spaces, the room is not a home or your social space. So how you show up in rooms is going to be different. And flexibility and being moldable is important. You can show up as much as you'd want with yourself, but there are also things that should be reserved for other settings, you know? Lulu doesn't change the fact that she is Lulu and she's got certain character traits. But now, what does this room expect and which Lulu do they want to come through? And it's just about that. You don't have to jump or job hop because you feel you are not accepted. But you also need to tailor make Ululu in order to fit in that particular room.
The mining industry is traditionally Africans, male dominated. And every morning you'll have what we call a production meeting. There's a lot of swearing that happens in those meetings, like a lot of it. But I have, like she was saying, different traits. Me being there, I'm not going to start swearing because now I'm in this space that has got all of this swearing. But believing me, I want to be there. I want to be in that space. Actually, I want to sit in that chair of that man that is swearing. But then, as a woman in that space, we must not come in and want to be one of the boys. Be who you are. I think I said, be authentic. Be who you are. And at some point, the swearing, I could not take it. I just had to stand up. And I said, we did not wake up in the morning to hear you swearing at us like this. Can you please try to be professional how you treat us as your colleagues? And slowly, they will learn. And believe me, slowly they will learn. Afrikaans speaking, they will speak Afrikaans. And the last time I did Afrikaans was in grade 12, standard 10. And I find myself in this space where I need to take instructions, but they are spoken to in Afrikaans. And I had to teach them slowly to say, can you please speak English? I didn't get what you were saying. And then they called me Engelse Vrouw. And that was my nickname, because I'm teaching them to say, please speak English, because I'm here and I need to leave this room and go to the mine and now do what you expect out of me. But you don't leave the room, but you teach them that it's not acceptable. Yeah?
Please say something, Jess.
Oh, sure. So I like what my two colleagues said here, but for me, it's about your core values. And again, you know yourself. What makes you sleep at night and what makes you look up the roof every night? You know yourself. Each person knows you. You know which cloth you're made of. So I love both examples, and I think the one of Afrikaans, I've also experienced it. I think my first job was in Pretoria. But to Nosi's point, you educate people the way that you want to be treated. And I think one of the biggest things, I think, in our society, with old or young people, is respect. Self-respect, rapport, being genuine, and being able to say, I don't like the way things are done. I don't prefer it this way. What do you think? What's your take on this? And I think that's respectful enough to say, I hear you, I see you, but I have a different view, and I'm not fighting, in a very positive manner. So I think as human beings, we need to remain authentic. We need to remain true to ourselves. We all work to have money and acquire things, but I think the last thing you need is to work so hard or be somebody that you're not, or be false and end up in hospital because of mental illness or because you are on medication for depression. Be true to yourself. You know your core values. You know the do's and don'ts, and you know how far your cloth can take. Thank you.
Sure. So the last thing for me is we all have something to offer in those rooms that you need to know. Whether you are there to learn so that you can be a better geologist, you are in that room because you've got something to offer. When you walk in a room and you are just graduated, you probably are not technically strong, but your values, you have a strong sense of truth. You can bring that into that team and live it. When you say something and you say, I'm going to deliver on a deadline, and you deliver, there are people who are going to learn from you, even if you think that you are junior. So there is no one who comes in the room that must think that they have nothing to offer. I am going to leave it here, unless there's another question. I didn't see anything online. I can take one more comment or question. There is one there. There was one. By the way, a red lipstick is the equivalent of a red tie, okay? I'm just saying, just in case you're wondering why, yeah, it is an equivalent of a red tie.
Has there ever been a moment where leaving the
This is for you,
room,
ladies.
for any of you, has there ever been a moment where leaving the room was actually the decision that moved you forward in the direction you wanted to be?
This is actually a critical question. Any takers? I'm happy to start. When you know, in fact, this is how you define if something is not working. If it violates your values. Anything else is taken snip and tack. Everything else is about whether you keep quiet or you don't say anything, or you say something. Whether you wait until everyone has left the room and you speak to this one person. When you can just see, and I'm gonna give an example that is probably more controversial. You are sitting in a meeting and there are people who are actually talking about something that you know it's corruption. You know, you can say it. But because it's how business is done here, you end up in this environment. So it violates your core value because remember that when you leave, Jess said that you must be able to go home and sleep. Everything else is about it. It is a suit, whether or not the collar must be up or down, whether it must be red or pink. Those are the small cosmetic things. If someone says, I want to show up authentically, but I want to be here at 12, it's got nothing to do with that. It's just it's time to deliver. It's time to have a conversation about time management. Those are the things that are important. But when you start eating on your integrity, your respect, when you walk in, they say something about you, they body shame you, and all of those things, you know that it's eating at the fiber of who you are. That's a violation. We in employment law, we speak about when something impairs your dignity. When you walk away and thinking, what has just happened? Did this person actually look at me like that? Or did they say this to me? Then you know, because after that, it can go downhill very quickly. And before you know it, you've got mental health issues because you have to show up every day and you're going to be panicking. Is this person going to ask me to sign something that I shouldn't be signing? Those are the real issues. Then you know that that's not the room that you belong to. Everything else, you can teach them that on WhatsApp group, please don't use the F word. I've done it. That we are talking about work here, the F word does not belong here. And if someone decides that they want to push the boundary and they put the F word, you just leave the room. Just leave WhatsApp. And they're like, okay. I said, no, but I did say. So you teach, and it comes with that relationship. So that's my take.
Thank you, Yvonne. Nice one. On this one, I have a personal story where I ran a business long time ago in a different setup. And I thought, obviously, I mean, in our country, we've got public and private sector. And I happened to find myself making more money in public sector than private sector. Those were good days. But there was a cloth in me that didn't resonate when people want to talk to me off-site or on weekends because I'm a successful young black girl. And I'm like, let's talk on email. Let's talk about the actual business. I'm placing people. I'm mentoring people and nothing else. And I found myself many, many years ago having to quit that client, having to write off. I think those days it was 300,000, those days, because I knew it's not talking to my values. And at some point I thought I failed in life because that was a thriving business. And I decided to shift and focus business development into private sector. And thank God it worked out. It's still working out. That's why I'm in this room. So you choose your battles. You know where you belong. And if it doesn't sit well in your soul, I think when people say it is well with my soul, we take it for granted. but it's actually real. And when you can't sleep at night, because sleep deprivation is an illness, you can fall off, you can die, you'll have dark under eyes, you'll have all sorts of sicknesses. Walk away. Do what gives you peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Jazz. There's another one there. We're going to allow another one.
Good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, thank you for such an insightful conversation. My name is Melody. I'm from DM5. What a privilege to be part of this teenager. I would like to ask the panelists if there's ever been a time when you've dealt with the imposter syndrome and how you've navigated that room. I think even when you know your values, you know yourself, you are authentic, all the advice we've received today, there are times where you encounter the unfortunate imposter syndrome because others still think and treat you like you don't belong in that room. Thank you.
I'm sure every single one of us, not here, there, can talk about imposter syndrome. I don't know if I should just go with the personal story, but definitely, even today, this day and age, you do walk into a room and you're thinking, I don't think I belong here. They're going to find out that I don't know. You hope that I don't know, you know. And one of an executive coach once said to me that, Yvonne, the people who encounter you, firstly, they don't know what you know. They also don't know what you don't know. And walk in that room or when you sit in that table, know that if you know your stuff, you know your stuff. And as an executive, when you sit around the table, often it's not the two of you that are giving the same advice. So you're probably the most knowledgeable in that room about that particular topic. So when your mind or the other voice is telling you, they're going to find out that you don't know, you must just tell it to slow down, right? This whole thing about this conversation that you have with yourself, it's real. And the one that must always win is the one that says, go forward, go for it. So you have this imposter syndrome throughout your career. I can even tell you now, even with kids, as they grow and they know things that you don't know, you haven't been exposed to. Sometimes you sit there and I'm like, no, but mama la. It's like self-talk, right? No, but the mother, yeah. You know, and then you do it. And that's exactly what you shouldn't do is when you have that conversation, you cower and you back off. Tell yourself, I'm going to go for it. And if something does go wrong, tomorrow is another day.
Just to add on that, Yvonne, I love your analogy. I think there's something here that we didn't touch on maybe so deep, because obviously time is of essence. Something called failing in life is actually a very good thing. Because if you've never failed, you don't know what it feels like to fail. You need to fail. I think we're a society who wants to succeed all the time. We've got high expectations on ourselves. You need to fail. Look back, introspect, correct yourself, speak to people who are your support structure, be authentic, speak the truth, but you have failed. Again, talk to yourself. Acceptance and move on. No one is perfect. We've all failed. The countries fail flat. People die. People are born every day. Let's accept failure as a lesson to move to the next level. Thank you.
Is my job done here?
We just have a quick comment
Sure.
from Nontle again.
Sure.
She's saying, thank you so much for this. You have ignited something in me. I would really like for you ladies to discuss career pivot. It's a battlefield for a lot of people out there. Some people are stuck but have degrees. Thank you and enjoy your weekend.
I've got a statement. I read a book by Adam Grant, and it's titled "Think Again." That book actually changed how I view a career and things that you get yourself into. So he gives an analogy of firefighters who had to go and extinguish a felt fire somewhere, and it was actually quite big. And now in their training, they are told not to lose their tools, right? So whatever happens, don't lose your tools. So now the fire was overpowering them. And now they started need to get away from the fire. They started need to start running. And their tools were slowing them down. Now they kept those tools with them until they perished. So the author is saying they should have just lost the tools because they would have been faster and it would have saved their lives. They would have spoken about why they lost their tools, but they will be alive to talk about why they lost their tools. So there are things that we are trained and we are socialized and it's ingrained in us that actually hampers us. He also makes an analogy, tells a story about a doctor who wanted to be a farmer. Very good, or an artist, but it's something that is completely different. Now, the doctor does not want to leave the profession because they've invested time and money, yet they are very unfulfilled and very miserable. Now, it's a decision that comes with a lot of responsibilities. Someone asked me, and people always ask me, why did you leave corporate and went back to practice? It's pivoting because I know what I want and I know what is going to bring not only success and accolades, because sometimes that's what it's more attractive, right? But there's something about what you know your purpose is, what you know you need to achieve, what you know what you are called to do. So pivoting, when you're going to pivot, you must also know that you are pivoting into something that you know brings your purpose into life. Are we good? Thank you so much. If you can just give my panel a round of applause as they go down. Wasn't that wonderful? Oh. It was amazing. You guys are a wonderful audience. Thanks to everyone who's online. Until we meet next year, this time. And I'm hoping that this room is going to be full, packed, upstairs, downstairs. You guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yvonne, please don't go. Don't leave the stage and our panelists. Was that not wonderful? Please, can you give them a sounding round of applause? So we opened the room talking about navigating it. Here's what I hope you are leaving the room with. Competence gets you in the room. It does not keep you in the room. That's a different skill. And nobody is going to teach it to you unless you decide to learn it. Lerato and I usually say when we started this, when people were just taking chance, we are chance takers. And we thought, if it works, it works. The worst that can happen, we are lawyers, will default to pleased to meet you. Tell us about yourself, But there was a purpose. We wanted to try, And what Jess said about failing, I think it's been drummed into our heads so much that failure is a bad thing. I'm not going to underplay that it hurts, but take the lesson. At least you would say to yourself, I tried. How many businesses come on stream every single year, and by the end of 12 months, they're gone? Those people are not failures. They tried something. So give yourself a chance, you know. Lerato was saying I must be that malume in Black Functions who thanks people. You know that malume who so I guess I'm the Rahadi, right? So I just want to say to every single one of you, we wouldn't be here without each and every single person here. And we want to take this opportunity to say thank you to every single person who made the time, both physically to come and who's logged on online, to say, without you, we wouldn't. I mean, I'm Venda. There's a saying that says, "Mutu ndi mutu nga vathu," you know. And I'd like to believe that I live that mantra. And that mantra is every single person is important. From Johanna at DM5, who makes our tea, to Lerato, who's my business partner. DM5 wouldn't be what it is without the employees, without the clients, without the family, without the friends who believe in us blindly, you know. But they are there when it's tough. I always say to my team, when we're looking for something we can't find, I was like, guys, Lerato and I know someone. They will help us. We'll figure it out. And that's what we've learned throughout this journey, this navigating. And Yvonne, you were right. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. Every day you ask yourself, am I good enough? Just get in there, you know, and do the best that you can. I also want to thank our business development team. Please give them a round of applause. Remember, we are lawyers. We are not trained in events management. Both the team internally and externally, Vicky, I see you, Voice Moleboheng. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we would like to present our panelists with a smoking token of our appreciation. And you took the time out of your busy schedule to be here for us once more. When Lerato and I are rocking a walking stick, we will look back and say we've lived. And that's all. Find your purpose. Find what drives you. Find your room, your people who will pitch, you know, who will be there for you. And thank you very much, ladies. This wouldn't be possible without you having spent all this time preparing. And I would like to invite everybody upstairs. Lunch is served, networking, grab a glass of wine before you rush off. But thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a wonderful weekend.